our main agenda of the day. Do you always reap what you sow? So basically, it's the whole karma thing. You know what I'm saying? Reap what you sow is what you reap. Uh, as you lay your bed, so you lie on it. One man's meat, one man's treasure, uh,
I think you botched
one
that,
man's
but you know.
crayfish. Yeah, all this, something like that. Yeah, all that shit. Yeah, so come on. It's your topic. What you said? Start us off.
Yeah, I mean, it's only my topic because I've actually written on this before, but like
You say it. Go
the premise of what I wrote initially is I don't agree with the premise of karma. One, because there's just too many instances of people who are complete dickheads, like just prospering in life, and then there's people who are just pray every day, and then the worst shit happens to them. And I'm like, yo, that shit doesn't
Facts.
make any sense to me. Because like,
Facts.
if you take what's the name of that guy that killed how many people in the church? Um, Fuck, I can't remember
The
his
one
name
in
anymore. Why am I
Niger.
forgetting shit today? No, in America. The guy that went to the church and just killed like 7, 9 people some years ago. Dylan
I
Roof?
can't remember
I think it's Dylan Roof. I think it's Dylan Roof. Anyway, this guy entered a church and killed 9 people. Even if you take the recent one in Niger, in Ondo, where the bandits or whatever you want to call them just came and slaughtered like 40 people. I'm sure most of them. I mean, you can't tell me most of them did shit in their lives that makes them deserve to be fucking slaughtered that way.
Absolutely
And
not.
the same as like all these guys that are really religious and all they do is pray all day, but they're fucking poor. Like they just live in poverty their whole lives. I'm like, my thing with that is some people will say, okay, like they may be poor in this life, but in the next life they'll get the reward. But like there's a Christian who prays all day and there's a Muslim who prays all day, and they're both poor as fuck, yeah?
Facts.
And both holy books says only one of you is getting into heaven, the other one's going into hell. So, which, so like,
Oh,
so
my
like,
spin. Okay.
automatically that means one of you
Somebody
niggas
capping,
that
and
use,
somebody's gonna still be
yeah,
broke.
like you prayed your whole life and you were broke your whole life and you're still going to hell, bro. So like, this shit don't make sense to me. But like, whenever like something happens to someone, they say, "Ah, it's karma." Like, nah, that's just how the world works.
Nah,
Like, because that's it. Like, even if you're good your whole life, like, it shit's still gonna happen to you. So that's my
nah.
whole thing with the karma thing. Like, I just don't like. Well, I just don't agree with the premise. Let me
Oh,
say I
you
don't
don't
like it
believe
because
in like that whole karma shit? Obviously, obviously.
not really. I just in the way
I mean, it can't be
it's
not really. It's a
totally
yes or no, innit? Like,
no, like I don't believe you
okay,
reap what you sow. No, I don't. Like,
okay,
nah,
okay.
nah.
That's actually mad, because like, and you are right. It kind of ties closely into like religion in general, but like, it's one of those things because there's no actual proof that you reap what you sowed. Like you said, like I see dickheads thriving every day, thriving
Yeah, the drive is a
and I'm
motherfucker,
like,
bro.
ew. Because like you said, there are people like even in like the church, and not even just the one in the US, like in Niger and all these different countries, like not just churches, like where's the place where Jewish people go again? Synagogue?
Synagogues.
Yeah, and then they've been and then the crimes too. Then I'm like, but like, so they're in a holy place. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I'm like, what's this whole reap what you saw thing? I think the premise is we all just want to get to like a whole humanity standpoint. Because you feel like do you feel like if you take the whole reap what you sow thing, then humans just become horrible people. Like, more. There are more people that are then horrible. And so because right now people have that fear because of religion.
Yeah, they will come back
Yeah.
around and hurt them, right? I mean, I feel like that's one of the but I've also heard the opposite argument where people say religion has caused more violence and damage
Yeah, I
than
mean
it's worth.
historically, I guess, yeah.
And historically, it has led to a lot of bloodshed. But I'll also say that it's hard to know what people's moral compass will look like in the absence of religion. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people who
Does
would want
religion
to
give us
stay away
morals
to
though?
kill. I think it does. Yes, it
Is it
definitely
is
does.
it
In part.
still though?
Yeah, still, yeah.
Because there are people
Because
that
like,
are non-religious. I mean, and they have their morals are just fine. Like it's like that's all.
yeah. So this goes back to, and I've had this talk with my brother before in the past. Like, where do morals originate? Like, you can, because it depends on what school of thought you actually subscribe to. But if you say morals originates from, I don't know, whenever man started, like whenever
Mm.
man started, do you think in their heads, do you think they knew what was right from what was wrong? Like, is that just
I
something
think
you're
I
born?
think I don't know. I feel like to a certain extent, yeah, because we have all these feelings. like within our human self, like emotion outside of religion, like empathy, sympathy, sad,
Hmm.
happy. You know what I'm saying? So I feel
But if
like
that's
that's
the
just
case,
like, yeah.
if that's the case, then why are morals still subjective till this day? Because
Are
at the
they
end of the
really
day,
though?
yeah, they are. Because there's things that I think is wrong and someone else thinks is fine
Like what? Give an
till this
example.
day. It could be anything, like killing people. Like, in my
Okay, well,
opinion,
I mean, come
or
on.
bandits, even the bandits like this, they kidnap people and they ask for money, and to them it's completely justified. Like there's nothing wrong with it. Like
Yeah, because
they
they
say the
broke.
government yeah, but their argument is the government isn't paying attention to them or trying to fix their communities, so they're doing it themselves. And the way they're doing it themselves is by getting money. And the only way they can get money is from kidnapping people.
Yeah, like
Like
okay,
like,
so they
to
are
them it's
justifying it
wholly
from their
justified.
perspective, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Now,
So
is there
morals are still
any,
subjective.
but okay, is there anything inherently like wrong about kidnapping? Like, fam, you can okay if you get kidnapped, as long as you don't
Mhm.
murder the person you're kidnapping, I feel like you're still on the. I mean, it's not looking great for you, but you're still on the right side of morals. Collect your ransom and go home. I'm saying if you're murdering the person, nah, it's gonna be a long day. You hear me?
Yeah,
That's
but
what I think.
again, that's what I said depends on what school
On
of thought
perspective,
you.
ah, you're right.
Because
You're
like,
right. You're right. True.
if you're looking at a Platonic school of thought, because Plato's whole thing was, morals exist independently from people. So like what you're saying now. So even if they believe that, like outside of that, there's still what's right and wrong. But then there's people like Berkeley who say, nah, that's not what it is. That morals only exist as they are perceived. So if it's only
Mm,
like as they are perceived, then someone who grew up in a certain like we've used this thing in the past, people who grew up in around gang culture and stuff, and they
mhm.
think it's fine. Like robbing people is fine, killing people is
Do they
fine. I'm doing it
think
for
it's
my
fine though? Do you know,
from
I don't
that.
actually agree
Yeah,
though. Do they think it's
you don't
fine?
think it's I think they think again, they
I
think
don't agree
it's
with that.
they think there's a reason for it and then they
Yeah, but
justify
they
it.
know it's not good. They know. They have to know. There is no way.
But
They know. They
but,
do know.
but what's but do they feel it's wrong? Like when a nigga rides out and does a drive by and kills niggas in the opposite set, does he feel like he did something
I
wrong? I
feel
don't
like he
think
can
so.
justify it, but deep down he knows that oh, this is something I can catch a case for. Therefore, like it's wrong. Like it's
Yeah,
not
but does he think what he did is wrong? Like
wrong, like
morally speaking.
morally wrong or legally.
Not like legally, no, morally. Does he think what he
I
just did is
think
wrong?
so though. I think they
I
would
don't
know,
think
but I
so.
think they also still
Like
have
he
that
does.
mindset that trumps it of like, oh, this gang shit. I have to do what I gotta do. I'm saying.
Yeah, like, but it's the same as like if someone kills like your family member and you ride out and get revenge. I don't feel like you feel what you did is wrong, especially people in that kind of culture. Like they don't think
Okay.
like like
Ooh,
they'll
okay.
say like niggas in gangs, yeah, and you hear this thing a lot. So if someone kills like her son, so if someone loses her son, she'll go to
Mm,
like her best friend or his best friend that's also in the gang and be like, are you gonna allow this shit happen? What? Like, are you not gonna
mm,
get that nigga back?
yeah,
That kind of
yeah,
thing.
facts. Mm.
Yeah, so they feel obligated. Not only did they not feel it's wrong, they feel obligated to do it. But like me and you, we won't do shit like that. And that's where the whole morality being subjective thing
That
comes
one is
in.
debatable though. I feel like I have to talk to an actual gang member to know. But like I feel you though. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you.
There's enough interviews online to find shit on
I
that.
feel you.
Let's not dominate, guys. What do you think of it before me and this guy go on a tangent? Because this shit
Abdul
really
Jim,
good.
what you saying, fam? What do you think about this whole karma
Yeah,
shit?
first of all, you guys are open. You've opened two things: the karma thing and then the moral codes, whatever.
Yeah,
Uh,
go off, man.
there are two different ones. Anyway, for karma, to be honest, I'm mostly on the side of karma. Karma isn't it for me, to be honest. Not because of some of the things Kamal said. Some of the things Kamal said
The
were.
guy said karma is not slapping, bro.
I hope them because yeah, sure, we've seen people that literally did crazy ass shit that these guys were playing as evil, and yet they went clean.
Yeah.
And then some people might actually just feel like, ah, yeah, they will meet their end in day of judgment and all that. Yeah, but yes, to be honest, we're humans. A lot of humans still believe that no, like they need judgment here too, like just to have that closure of yes, I know I
Mhm.
really did, I got my own back. So yeah, that's where the whole moral thing comes. However, in some part of the ideology of karma can also not be ignored, where like that we reaping what you sow thing.
Mhm.
It's not totally wrong, but I don't think it's also it's not totally wrong, but I don't think we can give karma the credence for that
Mhm.
particular, because obviously everyone knows that you cannot stay under a mango tree and then be praying for mango to fall down
Yeah,
without
exactly.
having.
Yeah.
You know what?
You cannot wait under a mango tree and then be praying for the tree to drop mango on your head when you're not Isaac Newton or something. You actually have to do the work. You get. So that's where
Yeah.
the report so thing comes to play,
And I agree with
and
that.
that's
Yeah, I get that.
that one holds true. So it's not everything. However, but also you also know that you should do good to people. Now, okay, religiously speaking, oh God, I've entered the trap. Come on, it.
No,
Religiously
go
speaking,
Yeah, here we go. Here
expected
we go.
to you're expected to do good, like for the sake
Uh-huh.
of it being good, like to seek reward from God and from and well, scientifically, science says that when you do good, people there's this serotonin that gets released. Everybody feels good when they do good. That is the truth. No
no,
matter
bro.
how,
Uh-huh.
I don't go
no
fuck
matter
that.
how
Wait,
you do.
let him land. Let him land. Let
Sorry,
me see where
sorry,
this
go on,
guy
go on,
ends
go
up.
on.
So yeah, there's the I think that's the scientific feeling good, and then there's also the
Uh-huh.
part about I'm a Muslim, so expected that when I do good and you actually do it for the sole purpose of being good to God and good to your fellow
Uh-huh.
human, you expect a certain kind of reward, and then you would, if you are inclined towards that line of thought, you'll be inclined to always do good. But then sure, you're
Mm-hmm.
human, also mess up at some point in time. So now, um there's this thought, or better still, there's this statement that exists. I don't know if Kamal knows of it, Sha, but that
Mm-hmm.
this the saying goes as a man is going to die upon that which he has been found wanting. That is, a man is going to die upon what he is known for. Like if a man is known to always drink or do whatever, unless by
Mm-hmm.
some divine mercy where he does not, where he, unless there's some divine intervention in his life where he suddenly just says, you know what, I'm quitting this stuff. I want to start a new life all over again, which actually exists. There's this rule of repentance and getting your shit back together. And then he has
Mm-hmm.
asking for help and all that. Yes. Then he chooses to die normal. That maybe die normal can be maybe die in sleep or something, or die, it can even be a car crash. Until the left to me, a car crash, you dying there. That's a normal death. Well,
Uh-huh.
that's
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
so it's relative to you dying as a result of atherosclerosis. Okay, normal English, heart attack or something. Secondary to you
Mm-hmm.
uh, being an alcoholic or something. So you get,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not, you cannot really. I don't go with karma, but you can also not ignore the fact that you cannot continue to do shit and then expect to die well, unless for some weird reason you choose to like go into the wrong.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
Yeah.
agree
sure,
with
sure.
that.
You have the right. You definitely have the right to disagree. Obviously, but then
I
you
see where
cannot.
you're going with it, though. But yeah.
Yeah, you cannot totally ignore the fact that okay, sure, this person, yeah, you are following this pathway. You expect that this is the there's cause and effect with these things now. We expect that you've been drinking for 5 years. You are definitely going to have high blood pressure. Like chronic drinking of alcohol, my God, something must be wrong with your heart. Something must be wrong with your vessels. Sure, you can change,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
it will effect to reduce. But yes, that's good if you choose to change and all that. But then there's cause and effect, or rather, let me say because there's risk factors for something. If we heard someone has hypertension now, part of the things we ask in his history is, oh, do you smoke? Do you drink? Do you drink alcohol? Do you smoke
Medical
cigarettes?
doctor.
That
Gank.
so
I fuck it
it's
up.
we it's not because we think okay because the person is doing this is going to happen to this, but it is scientifically proven that a lot of people that have hypertension fell into these particular cases. So we have to rule that out. So as per karma, I wouldn't say because you drank, sure you're going to have hypertension. Like yeah, it can happen. We've seen people
Mm-hmm.
that in fact I know of someone that he died via road accident eventually, but he never really had hypertension and he's a chronic drinker. Like this
Mm-hmm.
man, chronic drinker. So that's what I believe about karma. I don't follow the ideology, but I also know that there's cause and effect to some things we choose to do, and we are
Mm-hmm.
going
Mm-hmm.
to account for that. So that's what I believe.
I feel you though. I feel you, but and I see what you're trying to explain, but that's still random. Like, because anything can kill anybody, right? Like, we have this
Mm-hmm.
saying
Yeah.
in my own industry. It's like, if you want to be 100% safe from in aviation or any plane crash, don't fly. You know what I'm saying? It's the same way, okay, if you want to be safe from car crashes, don't drive. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
Mm-hmm.
it's still, that doesn't mean that, like, anything could still happen. I know niggas that are chronic drinkers and chronic smokers. These niggas look healthier than me, bro. Look at fucking Wiz Khalifa, for example. He's probably been high for years. Snoop Dogg,
Yeah. Yeah.
years. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? But it's a good point though. So
Eh?
it's one of those things that you're parents will probably tell you that, oh, if you drink too much, eventually the alcohol will kill you. If you like woman too much, Nya should kill you. I get it.
I've read that.
I get it, but like not really though. You know what I'm saying? So like that's
Can
just
I
too random though. Go on, yeah.
can I comment on that Wiz Khalifa point and Snoop Dogg point though? I am willing to bet my left kidney. If those guys should come to be tested, I am willing to bet my left kidney that something is wrong with their lungs. I am almost
But these
certain.
guys
I
are
have
also
to
rich enough to know like their own medical
bullshit.
conditions
You
too.
cannot.
But
Sorry,
do they
sorry, sorry.
care?
You can't.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
good point.
So,
Yeah.
even if their wealth does not signify sense, for God's sake, he
True.
had. Let me not call you former president of the US. But yeah, you do not necessarily because you are rich. In fact, left in some instances, wealth signifies a lot of it might make you start doing a lot of stupid shit. Like normal thinking people will look at you and like, oh guy, you get money, why you do stupid things like this? Okay, yeah. Remember that time when that Bill Gates news came out that the guy was getting divorced and then everybody was like, wow,
Mhm,
shit. So we get self breakfast too, that kind of thing. Sure.
mhm.
I'm just saying that you be being rich does not mean that you have sense to do something. There's some
No,
things that
I
can just
agree. I agree.
they
I just use them as an example because they're popular, but I
yeah,
feel you though.
they looking more. I understand. They're looking more healthy, looking physically.
Mm.
By the way, Khalifa does not look healthy to me. As in, we've seen healthy guys.
He's,
That
he's
guy doesn't.
been he's been working out recently in the gym and
Okay,
shit.
okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll check up a new picture or Snoop Dogg. I think for and you getting licensed, like I think they have a legal license to smoke marijuana or something, whatever.
It's
If
probably just legal wherever they live.
where they live.
Yes,
Okay.
legal these days, yeah.
So
Facts.
see, guy, those guys come and do chest X-ray here. I beg. I'm willing to prove that something is wrong with these guys. Yeah, sure, you can look physically healthy, but when it starts knocking, man,
No,
I've
I
seen
agree
people.
with that. But what I'm saying is like the chances of them dying through like some lung related thing, I don't think is like I don't think it's enough
Hmm.
to like I don't know, like you know what I'm saying? Like they
No,
could
finish that
easily just
statement.
have died from
I
anything else.
I need to hold something. Finish the statement. You don't think it's enough to?
It's not enough to acknowledge as like, oh, you are reaping what you sow. Like you know what I'm saying, like they could easily have
It's
just
it's,
died from anything else. Like I
it's
don't know.
kind of enough. To be fair, okay. Imagine 5 years down, we hear like Snoop Dogg comes down with lung cancer. Hopefully not, but he comes down with lung cancer. Will you start thinking, oh
I
shit,
won't be
that's enough?
surprised. But then
Exactly.
again,
That's
at
the
the
point
same
I'm trying
time,
to
like
prove.
it's not.
Was it-
Yeah, no, I
But
feel
you're
you, but
saying
it's
it's
not like
unlikely.
commonplace.
Yeah,
You know what
It's
I'm
that's what
saying?
you're
very
saying. You're saying it's
likely.
unlikely.
It is even more
Because that's
likely to.
chronic smoking. People make mistakes every single day. If you reap every single thing you sow, the niggas just gonna be suffering their whole life.
No,
You know what
no.
I'm
Let,
saying?
let, me, let me be clear. Let me be clear about the reaping what you sow thing. Like when you say you, that statement applies when the person has finally sowed. I mean, he has finally reaped what he sowed. Like, sure,
Mm-hmm.
if I should, let me look for a crazy example now. Okay,
I understand what
if
you
I'm
mean.
going to fly out of planes, what do you call those guys? Skydive. Yeah, if I skydive
Mm-hmm.
almost like part of my recreational activity, yeah, it would know the risk
Mhm.
of the parachute refusing to come up
Mm-hmm.
and then you packing. Yeah, it's not that you. It would be unfair to say you reaped what you sow because you're just catching fun. Like it is
You're
not a
doing your
terrible
thing, facts. Yeah.
activity. You're just doing your thing. Right? You
Mhm.
understood the risk. That is in a legit way. It's not a sin to jump out of a plane and like you're enjoying your time.
No.
It's a
Mm-mm.
sin anyway. Yeah, but then doing things that are clearly harmful, like the pros do not weigh against the cons in a very good way. We all know that. That is when you can use the statement to re-rip. Just like you won't just go to the burial of Snoop Dogg
No,
or
I
Wiz
get what you're
Khalifa.
saying, but what
Yeah,
I'm saying is like
yeah.
that doesn't always apply though. Like even when you
Yeah,
are doing things that are evidently
Give
harmful,
me an
yeah.
example. Let me let,
yeah,
let me
and
get.
that's
I want to get
ultimately
an example.
what. Finish.
An example of like the
Yeah, what's an
ripping.
example? Come on, do you have an example?
Yeah, yeah.
Of what?
Like I want to understand your train of thought. I've given examples of how that
No,
would be
all
eventually.
he's saying is, or what both of us are essentially trying to say is, sometimes you reap what you sow, and sometimes you don't. Is
Yeah, like
essentially
it's not enough
Which
essentially
of
I
a
what he's
agree
saying.
to. I agree
statement.
to that now.
When we say this life no balance, yeah. Even just today, my mom, my mom was telling me this story. I think it's one of our friends. Not even I think it's one of our friends. So her daughter was traveling to. Was she traveling? I think Lokoja. I think maybe. So she got kidnapped on the road. Her and a bunch of other people, and then they told them to bring 1 million each.
Mm.
So her family hustled. Eventually got 1 million. Then they told them to also bring a bike, like a machine, Okada bike, a certain brand. So like after they got the money and the bike, her brother went to go. Okay, so her son, my mom's friend's son and the
Mhm.
sister's brother, so went to go and deliver the ransom to the kidnappers and whatnot. So when he got there, they looked at the bike and they said, "Well, this is not the brand of bike we told you to buy." So they took the money, took the bike, told them to get another bike, and then kidnapped the
Ah,
son as well.
hell.
And so you can imagine, like, for someone like that, like the mom, she's just there,
Mm.
like, wow, like her daughter got kidnapped, and then they sweats and sweats and
All the
sweats for
hustle
how
and
many
hustle.
months
Facts.
to raise that 1 million, and then gave it as ransom. And then her son went to, and then her son too got kidnapped. So now she's lost her son, she's lost her daughter. And like, what did she do to deserve that? You know, like, and ultimately, that's my grievance with the whole like, you can't tell me this woman, unless she's doing some fucking black magic or she killed someone, which she probably did not.
Yeah.
Like, what did she ever do to deserve shit like that? Because now they can easily kill the daughter, they can rape her, they can marry her off. There's so many things they can do to her. They can kill the
Mm.
son too. Like, there's so many things. And where is she gonna raise another 1 million from? Like, where? Like, because she
No,
just barely raised the first one. So when like, ultimately, I agree. Like, the whole "you reap what you sow" thing, if it's being used in the context of work hard and good things will happen to you, fair enough, because it's motivating people to work hard. But like,
Mm.
when something happens to someone and they're always like, he was doing this now, you reap. But like, bro, like, it doesn't. I don't like that, because you're only using it because it
so
just
this
happened to apply.
particular this particular issue, it wouldn't that statement first of all, that statement will not apply to this particular issue because it will even be
No, it
unfair.
wouldn't. Exactly.
It has to be with that's why I said when people use the statement "you reap what you sow," usually in terms of putting your house into the work and all that. In this kind of situation, I think this is just going to be qadar. Sorry, qadar is what's qadar again? Destiny, ko. And
Destiny.
a test is a test. So
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
see, if we're going down the hopefully we'll not even go down the religious road, but ordinarily it's expected that you as a human, or rather, I mean, I'm speaking from a Muslim perspective anyway, you cannot
Mhm.
be expected to live through this life and think you would go without tests. It's
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
there. It's literally a
Yeah.
belief we all have to go through. So shit, by the way, that woman's story is sad. So she's lost two kids
It's sad
to
as it's sad
Yeah,
as
that's
shit,
but
bro.
fucked up.
Like,
Yeah.
that's
it's sad.
Sasha. Or then like you said, life no balance. Abi, how you talk and say
Mm.
this life.
Yeah.
So I think that's just one of those situations of this life no balance. That's not a matter of karma, unless, like you said,
Mm.
she's doing magic, or maybe she has schooled people in the past or something. Then we can say, oh man, okay, she had it coming. But no one actually knows that. Like, remember, good. Well, we've all watched this movie, right? This Idris Elba movie. Shit.
Which one?
The one where it's very recent. Something about thieves. Oh God, something
Recent
about
Steve.
recent, yeah. Where apparently in the beginning, at the end of the movie, it turned out that the person he killed in the beginning happened to have been his father. Very, very popular. Something of King of Thieves or something. Ring of Thieves or
Have I seen? I haven't seen that. I don't think I've seen it.
where, oh my God, this guy was in it. Quite a number of popular guys were in that shit. I remember the movie and I'll say it again. But anyway,
Uh,
at the end of he came around. It turned out that the person that like the guy that killed Idris Elba at the end of the movie happened to be the son of the man whom Idris Elba killed. And then
at the
back in
beginning.
time,
Yeah.
that man happened to have been Idris Elba's father. He had abused him. He had done a lot of hardship. Then suddenly the man left them, abandoned him and his mother. The mother died. The man suddenly became a pastor, lived, married another woman, and then had his son. So the son turned out to kill Idris Elba. And when I remember the title, I would see it, and then all of you be like, "Oh yeah," because it was quite popular.
Because
I'm
it said
hoping
recent.
yeah, it seems recent. It's very recent. So I'll try and remember the movie later. So Shasha, that's what we could. That's it. That's an example of karma, whatever, ever. Karma
Mm.
coming back to the guy. Yeah. So I think that's like although it's a movie anyway. It's a movie,
Yeah.
so can say yeah that kind of issue.
That's what I said.
So if you
Ultimately, like, if you're only using it in the context of, okay, work hard, or
Yeah, then
I
it
just don't
then it
like
makes
the
sense.
fact
Yeah.
that it's only used like when something bad happens to someone and they're like, oh,
Which yeah,
or
it's
like
not. Yeah,
like
facts.
this guy was a thief, so he just flipped what he's. Oh shit! There's a recent Lupe's last album. Yeah, he had a line on the album where he was talking about AIDS. So when a gay guy dies from AIDS, they're like, oh wow, it's God killing the gays. But when a pastor dies from AIDS, they say it's God's mysterious ways. And it's like,
Mm,
Oh
bro,
yeah.
the same thing happened to two different people. But because one person just happened to be gay and got AIDS, you say, oh, he died because he was gay. But then when a pastor
people still
dies,
say
he's
yeah
from
that God
AIDS, you
introduced
say it's
AIDS or
God.
something because of, yeah, gay
Yeah,
people.
they say it's
Yeah,
God
yeah.
mistake. So like it's the same thing that happened to both of them, but because of how they lived their lives, they're trying to use the two different ways to justify. Like one person deserved it, but the other person, it's just God's mysterious ways. God walks into like I don't like that distinction that's always being made. Like at the end of the day, everyone sins, everyone does bad things.
Facts.
Like we don't have to label someone by this and then ultimately just judge them by that one thing when something bad happens to them. When we wouldn't do the same thing to someone with a different reputation. So
Mm.
I just want more like I guess fairness, parity, consistency, whatever you want to call it, between how we judge people in general. Like we're just too judgmental as a race. Like who are we to judge? Like nigga, you ain't shit. like who are
Mm.
you to be judging other people? But yeah, that's just.
So come on, I have a question for you though. So here's the thing. So since we basically said you don't always reap what you sow, so in a religious context, as far as bad things happening to people, it's not
Mhm,
applicable. Like it just doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? So my own thing is this because I know a lot of people, kind of like we talked about before, like the whole religion and morals and stuff. I feel like we've come far enough as a society though to be able to
mhm.
be moral to ourselves, religion or not
Yes.
religion, because there are people that are not religious, they are good people.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because I know I've had this argument before when like I was in discussion of like religion versus not religion. And like, oh, someone's like, oh, this guy is not religious. In fact, he's an atheist. Why doesn't he just go
Mhm,
out there and like murder people? Like, well, because he doesn't want to do that. Like, why would you want to
mhm.
do that? You know what I'm saying? So, do you feel like now we've just said you don't always reap what you sow? Does that kind of how do I put it delicately?
This guy's
Uh
about to say some fucking.
Does that kind of like take away from the credibility of religion? You know what I'm saying? Like
It
because
depends on how you look at it.
because I mean I don't know because I feel like every angle you look at it, like you said, right? And we live in a world where
Mhm,
there's five major religions, like
mhm,
1,000 and something others, 1,000 and something. That's ridiculous amounts of religions. You know what I'm saying? So like
mhm,
if you see somebody struggling, so you say they live in the south, they are poor, things are not going their
mhm,
way, maybe their children got kidnapped. I'm saying, and there's like, oh, like he prays every day, so like in the next life, you okay. Well, you take this
mhm,
same equivalent of somebody maybe in the north, and maybe it's a different religion, and it's like, okay, well, somebody either both y'all wrong, one person wrong, or like, so, you know what I'm saying?
mhm,
So like,
mhm.
what we doing? Just so try. What we doing for?
So well, if we're going from the first angle of the moral thing, I feel like it's like you said right now, um, religion is kind of ingrained in society, and like you said, there's atheists who are morally on the right side of things.
Mhm.
Objectivity is
But I feel like
subjective
most
in some
criminals,
stuff.
they're not interesting enough. Most criminals, they're not atheists. Yeah, I mean, they actually have a
No,
faith
no, no,
one
no.
way or the other. Yeah,
Yeah. So like,
that's why it's
but
wild.
I'll also say that religion has been around for so long at this point that it's hard to trace the roots of where morality and the way you understand it right now comes from.
Yeah,
Because
that's fair.
someone can argue that the morals that even though it started in religion a long time ago, since religions became the norm in a lot of societies, it just became
Nah, it's
culture,
a
like through
societal. No,
custom.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, so through custom, it just became a societal norm, and then it's passed down. And then nowadays, you grow up not believing in God, but you adopt societal
Hmm.
values and societal like definition of
Yeah.
what good and bad is. And someone can argue that still stems from religion, but we just don't know if that makes sense.
But
Because
if it
I
stems
can't answer
from it,
that
that's
question.
fine. But do we still need it the way it is there now?
I
Because
feel
like,
like
go on.
yeah. So in a place like Nigeria, despite it being as religious as it is, like you can still see the amount of banditry and everything going on here.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I think if you were to remove religion from Nigerians, most people that nowadays, at least in Nigeria, they fear the religious consequences of things more than they fear the legal consequences.
And that's
Because law,
problematic in itself, don't you think?
yeah, because the law isn't really efficient here. It's not really working properly.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys aren't gonna steal or aren't gonna kill people, aren't gonna kidnap people because God is gonna judge them one day. So that's why they
Yeah.
don't do it. So I'll still say, like, if you were to remove that, the world would be a more chaotic place, in my opinion. And I feel like it would be hard to argue. But you might have your own
I
opinion.
feel, yeah, no, you have a good point. I feel like maybe not so in the West, but
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. It
because even like
depends.
I think it was Dostoevsky. I'm not even sure, but one of these philosophers, and he was like, if God doesn't exist, everything is permissible. So, and I'm
But
not even
not
sure if he was
really
religious.
though. Like, no, I don't agree with that.
You don't agree with that
No,
because you
because
think the law. But what's the law? Okay, where does the law get its morality from?
that's fine. No, if I talk about the origins of things, that's a different thing. But right now, people are not okay. So if God does not exist, everything is permissible. Technically, everything is permissible now. Anybody can do anything, but you don't because of the repercussions, right?
Yeah, so
Outside
that's
of
why.
whether there's a God or not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'm saying if those consequences still stem from religious or theist.
Do they even for sure? I mean, that's like a whole other thing, I guess.
That's
But
that's
I
and that's what I
see.
said before. Like I don't really know. I can't say with
Yeah,
100% certainty
same.
it does or
Same,
if
me
it
neither.
doesn't. But I
Yeah.
think there's a very good chance that it does. Because even if you go back to like Julius Caesar and all these Roman emperors and shit, like a lot of the laws and stuff was based on biblical scripture. Like that was the basis they used to form a lot of the
But
laws. So
there's
whatever
something
the Bible,
beeping behind you.
yeah,
Okay.
they brought on there's Nepa lights, so they fucking beeps whenever it comes. But I'm
So,
gonna backtrack a bit. So yeah, if you
uh-huh.
go back to Julius Caesar and like Roman emperors and shit, like a lot of the laws that they instituted was based on biblical scriptures, and you
Mhm.
can argue that the law as we know it now since then has only been passed down from what was earlier proposed by the Roman emperors and whatnot. But yeah, I just feel like there's a good argument to be made that the law as we know it now was passed down from earlier laws, which were also based on
Mhm.
biblical scriptures. So there's a very good chance that even though we don't see it as religion, the law is still stemmed or still stems from religion. So
Yeah,